the way, this building at the side of me here is called Kettner's, for those that don't know, a rather exclusive restaurant. And one of the places that I made my very first, should I say, London singing debut. Oh yes, all those days, all those years ago. I had no idea actually when I appeared there though, that this haunt had so much history attached to it. In fact, it was a place where Oscar Wilde used to hold court on a regular basis. It's been going that long, yes. But today, if you go in there, and it's not too expensive to go in at all for a drink. I mean, listen, I go in, so you know what I'm saying. It's one of those places that you can see many of today's celebrities, the leading lights of politicians, sports people, showbiz people as well. So if you are in London and you want a sort of mid-price meal, or in fact just to sit in their cocktail bar and eavesdrop, as I like to do, then this could be the place for you. As I say, once again, I'm not being paid by them, it's not an advertorial. I just really like to share things with you where I have a little bit of history attached to myself. And also you forget and think, yeah, if somebody told me about that place, I might go to it too. Back as ever though to your story in hand. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to see you today and I hope you're all keeping well. In this particular video I just wanted to share some fun with you, a bit of light-heartedness, because this particular lady is very dear to me. I met her a few years back now when she was launching her one of her many books, in fact. It was called Tell the Girl. This lady is called Sandra Howard. She is the wife of the former politician Michael Howard, who at one point in fact could have become our next British Prime Minister. Sadly not meant to be, but nonetheless Sandra has a very rich history herself. So much so that when we were sitting down talking, I couldn't quite believe who she'd met. Fragrant, beautiful, very reserved, a little bit shy. Not necessarily the right ingredients to become a best-selling author, but she has become that. And of course the stories are based on her former life. So I thought I'd share it with you simply because when I did meet her, as I say, for the first time, it was just incredible. Now Sandra, you see, was a model way back in the late 50s, early 60s, and as she pointed out, when you were a model in those days, there were no fancy cars. You turned up on the bus, you paid your own bus fare, did your own hair and makeup, and very funnily she told me that in fact you had to turn up with your own hair pieces so that if they didn't like your style, then they would decide what style they liked. You know, that sort of thing. Can you imagine how different that would be today for people like Naomi Campbell and the supermodel girls? Totally different. But then as we got talking about that book at the time, she then told me really her backstory, you know, how she got going. Way back in the early 60s when she was married to her first husband, he was very nicely invited to write a book all about the superstar singer Frank Sinatra. That's right. So much so that she and her husband got invited on the inaugural flight of Frank's new plane. And they got to stay with him in Beverly Hills and they really enjoyed the wildlife circuit party, you know, of that era. So much so she let slip that she'd even met the superstar, international sex symbol and of course cultural icon Marilyn Monroe at a party by a pool. They were all just there swimming around in orange bikinis or whatever, she laughed. I said, well, what was it like? And she said, look, you've got to understand, I was 21 years old, you know, I thought this is what things, you know, the way of the world, you know, I just thought, well, just go along with it. It may work, it may not. Sandra herself, though, as I say, has used a lot of that backstory for her latest book. And I must point out that I'm not being paid, this is not a promo, I'm simply sharing a story of a person that I interviewed a couple of years back now. And as I say, it was fascinating. What I did like also about Sandra, and I wanted to share this with you because many people out there will remember the beautiful smell of Lux soap. And she said that she had a deal to be the face of Lux soap, and for many years they used her image on the packaging. She got £5 and that was it, just for the day's shoot. And she said she got a few bars of soap but never got any more after doing the actual day of the modelling. And they continued to use her image for many years to come. And I just thought this is a great story because, as I say, if you're looking for a fun read, a good novel, she does write really well. But Tell the Girl is loosely based on that time that I've just spoken about with Sinatra, Marilyn, and all of those incredible people that she was lucky enough to meet at the very start of her career. People like Groucho Marx, Betty Grable, Ginger Rogers. Apparently they're all massed up in this sort of plot line, which she says sort of mirrors her own life. Sandra, as I say, is a lovely lady, a little bit shy, but if you do get the chance, or you fancy downloading or buying one of her books in the store, do give it a go, trust me, you simply won't be disappointed. As ever, I hope you don't mind me sharing these little stories with you of some of the amazing people that I've met along the way in this biz we sometimes call show. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.